started in some kind of direction, dude, what about fucking, like the shows that we all used to go to? Those fucking kids up at Fitz and Engine Room and all that shit.
I remember hanging out with you all, like, going to, like, In Flames.
Yeah, and Flames and fucking Haunted and...
The Haunted, yeah.
Lamb of God and all those. There was some badass shows out at fucking Engine Room and Fitz.
I can't believe to this day that, like, the very first metal show that I went to was, in 99. And I'm pretty sure you were there for that. I don't remember if you were or not. But it was at all Testament and the Haunted of all places at the fucking Westfield by the railroad, which is like a fucking fire hazard waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I think it's still.
Did any great like that show?
What's that?
Burned to the ground with some pyrotechnics?
Shit. No, that wasn't black metal enough.
Or even so, dude, like Fry in Chapter 11 back in the days.
Really? That was like
high school days, man.
That was out of control. I remember the very, very first show that I played was with you, with Fry. And that was like the... I don't even know how we got into that.
Oh, the
Battle of the Bands at the Engine Room, yeah. That place was fucking packed. And it was like my first time.
I remember that, dude. Yeah.
Show too.
That was good.
Yeah, I was at that one. That was awesome.
So I also remember I was the older guy in the band, so I was like taskmaster for like a month before that. I was like, no, we're playing through the set twice in a row. We've got 25 minutes. Dude. At the times you actually showed up to practice.
Leave it on the recycle bin. We don't recycle here.
No, that was crazy. I don't even know where that came from or who hosted that Battle of the Bands, but that was like
that show,
a billion fucking people.
And somehow we won it too.
Like 500.
Somehow
that
we
was
won
high
that
school
thing
too,
too,
man. I remember the fact that y'all were playing high school. I was at Engine Room, huh?
Yeah.
Battle of Bands. That was awesome, man.
I remember you made like posters, but like flyers. Yeah. I still have some of those original ones, like from way back when.
Didn't know how to make flyers back then. So there's like 7 different ones.
No, that shit looked awesome though. That was cool as shit. Like everyone thought it was like a different show because it was this is a different flyer for the same show. I'll take it too.
Yeah, but this
more people. There you go.
This is for pride.
Well, you get the same thing now. You just get different Facebook events.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that was because
you remember
it's the modern times.
It was because it was back in the high school days. Everybody collaged the rooms anyway, so they had all those. You know, they had all the random artwork posted up with all the different flyers.
For real. I remember when I finally took all that shit down off my room. Everyone in their bedroom had like flyers, posters, and everything. Whenever you took it down, it was like one wall was like a roll of fucking wallpaper. There was no like individual pictures that you took down. Unless you wanted to save something.
How many black light fuzzy posters did you have?
None.
No?
Poster. And I worked at Spencer's too.
Yeah.
I didn't steal one.
What about you guys though, dude? I remember y'all popping up, Carry the Storm, out of nowhere, dude, and I didn't know y'all were jamming together and y'all started playing shows and it was fucking awesome. It was after you got out of Magistral and Carry the Storm came around and...
I remember like the very first...
Final Plague!
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was like the beginning... That was like part 1 of like 4 different parts of the beginning of Carry the Storm.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's whenever like you and Aaron came up with us and then did the show.
Yeah, Final Plague and Melody and Murder fucking all split up at the same time. I guess that's when
Yeah, cause I saw that last Final Plague show at Meridian when you were playing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. No clue who you guys were, but I was there.
No shit. That was not Symphony X, but that was a Sonata Arctica show. Yeah. That's like the genesis of Carry the Storm as far as like people actually getting together like and jamming. I guess, more than one person with somebody else.
Yeah, then we stole Alex and Josh from Final Plague.
I think we stole y'all, whatever.
We stole each other.
We can do whatever. We stole each other. In our hearts forever.
That's how it works in Houston. You steal.
It's mutual.
You have to steal to stay.
Yeah, really. I watched the interview that Hillary was doing with Rusty.
Yeah.
And no, what she said is true. Houston is a fishbowl. Like you're just kind of stuck at the bottom, just kind of trying to get your way out. And there's a combination of bands that either never make it out, they feel comfortable in Houston, because Houston is a big fucking city. You can go to like one side of Houston and then play a show for a different crowd and go to a whole different part of Houston. You can go like play something on like the north side and go down south to play like Clear Lake and then somewhere else after that. And you're playing for like 3 or 4 different audiences. And it's easy to get in that mindset of, well, yeah, we're playing for different shows, different bands.
On tour.
Yeah, exactly. And Houston's not big enough to where you can do that. But a lot of people forget that it's still fucking Houston.
Yeah,
there's still
it's a big city.
There's a whole other country outside.
Well, I think
this.
bands in Texas have to work harder anyway to get their point across because it's such a big
It's
state.
big and it's
Yeah.
spread out.
Spread out.
I mean, you can,
It's hard work to get out of Texas.
to get out
You
of
have so many
Texas
places.
west. You have to from here. It's like a 9-hour drive
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, really.
And we're putting
Just to
it
get out of the state.
Well, you hit El
Like
Paso and you're halfway to LA.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that earlier with like, you know, the Dallas bands get to make connections in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of those bands get to play Oklahoma.
They have that reach. They're that much closer.
We
But
have-
we're 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
away.
We have more Texas.
Yeah, we
Because in
have.
Houston, the only other way to go is Louisiana, which
Nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
After that, you can maybe go.
Sorry, I'm bagging on your home state.
the guys
After
in the
I
Austin
will
bands,
fuck that
while,
place.
Oh, you're from Louisiana too.
Yeah.
That's right.
while Austin has a good metal scene,
Yeah.
the only place those guys go is Dallas, Houston,
Or
San
San
Antonio.
They're in the heart of it, and then everything's around it. Like you said, like all we have is Louisiana, and then after that, you get to go to Florida. And my impression of Florida is that you get a lot more of like dirty death metal, like really
Yeah.
low down shit. Not
White
so much
trash.
rock kind of that kind of aspect to it. So it's kind of a harder, I guess, clientele to like appeal to. They have their own scene. Everyone has their own.
It's
scene.
very in Florida. It's very like extreme. Like you've got the death metal shit, where you got like rock and roll.
Yeah,
You don't really
exactly.
have
What
any
is
of
this,
the.
garage doors?
Or you have Marilyn
Get a
Manson.
chill.
Are you?
A little bit.
Jacket, dude?
Huh?
I'll give you a jacket.
That'd be fucking
You
awesome.
get people.
Or you have. Yeah.
Kelly didn't bring his own clothes, so Matt has
It's
to.
not about work clothes.
When I think of Florida, I think of like Obituary and like all
Yeah.
that fucking dirty down shit. And whatever's coming out of Houston right now, I don't know. Houston's wide range. There's a lot of metal.
That wide range, yeah.
Like there's, I don't know, I hate genres and all that shit, but there's like black metal, there's metal, death metal is kind of a smaller thing as far as I see it, but there's like a lot of just, in general rock.
There's a
And
lot of good
that
stuff.
doesn't, no, definitely, there's
just,
a lot of
it's
shit.
just isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, I think,
it's isolated, and there's a lot of like you said, a lot of different types, and I think that almost makes it because people like when grunge came out, they identified Seattle with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Houston right now, it's like you
Doesn't
can't.
have
It
a.
hasn't grown into its own scene, but there's so much different
But
shit to build off of that
internally,
nothing's
it's
come up yet.
awesome because you can go see one show and see 3 or 4 different kinds of metal.
Yeah.
But when it comes to getting that out, you can't, it's hard
That's
to
in a
say.
local aspect that's cool as shit
Right.
because you get to see a bunch of different types of things. You want to see a cover band, metal, death metal, black metal, rap, hip hop, whatever's around here. But when it comes, I don't know, I'm not well versed in like the way that like the actual business goes. But when you go to something that's like a record label, when you see Houston, and it's like Houston's just like a fucking, it's a fucking
It's a mess.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
really.
of stuff, but
well,
what I've noticed...
not so much a mess. It's more of like, if you want to talk about evolution, it's like the cesspool of what shit grew into. We still haven't grown into anything.
It's working
big
on
per
it, though,
se.
because I've
It's
noticed...
got a background, and it's
I've
possible.
noticed with you guys coming out, and when we were trying to get started out too, is there really was a lot of this genre, and getting billed for shows trying to get started out. You're getting billed in shows where it's this, and this. It's a straight genre, and then you hop in
Yeah.
there, and you're the guy that's out of place there.
It's hard to cross over into
Yeah.
something else.
Because I remember when we started playing, we're playing a black metal show, and we're playing our music, and it doesn't fit in. And then the next show we get, it's like grindcore, and we're not fitting in, But it started getting to where you hear more and more bands like that, to where you can throw like 5 bands together, and no one's showing up expecting a certain genre; they're just expecting metal, And it's been really cool to see that you can.
And on a local level, that's awesome because
Yeah.
you can go see a great show.
Yeah.
But how does one band stand out as this is
Yeah.
a Houston representative of what they're doing?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you get
Out
what's
there.
been
There's
established,
so many
and then-
different things.
Yeah, you get what's been established, and people start
Yeah.
mimicking, and that's what's successful. They start doing that, and it seems like people have gotten tired of that. So the breakout bands that start crossing genres and changing things up a little bit, those are the people that people continue to show
Well,
up.
when I was in high school in Seattle, and when the grunge movement happened, none of those bands were considered the same genre.
We were talking about that Metal Evolution documentary, and they went through the whole grunge phase of it. And they're lumping Nirvana and Alice in Chains into grunge, and to me, those were 2 totally different
Yeah.
sounds. And Pearl Jam even. I mean, I identified Pearl Jam as something different than Nirvana, and Alice in Chains is something different too.
And there were, I mean,
totally different things, but they come from that same scene.
And there's a spectrum,
like a couple
spectrum
albums into it, certain things started coming in where they started sounding more the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, Alice in Chains got less heavy, got into more of the Rooster kind of stuff, and then, but still didn't sound like Nirvana. There was still,
it could go.
Still different.
It was a lot more technical, but they were both grunge.
That's each band falling into what they do best, but it still came from the same source.
Yeah.
And that's something that Houston lacks is that certain band. There's been a number of bands that have come out of here that have influences from here, but there's nothing that actually hasn't gone all the way and said, yeah, we're from Houston, we represent it. There's popular bands, stuff like, there's like King's X, that's cool, but that's still in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, everyone knows they're from Houston, but no one ever says that's a Houston definitive.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, just like, if you hear people talk about the older scene, they talk about the two bands you usually hear them talk about are like Hellstar and Dead Horse.
Yeah.
Are like the more definitive bands, and those bands never got enough national recognition to ever.
Not here.
But even Hellstar was...
But that's only in the States. Like, you go to Europe and you go somewhere else, and those bands are fucking huge.
Yeah. Well,
especially Hellstar.
Well, Hellstar was Hellstar style is more the European style.
Yeah. But I mean...
So it appeals to that.
But I mean, you look at a lot of it now, and I think... I mean, I grew up on a lot more of the traditional thrash metal, but I know, like, our guitarist, Matt and Jelson, and I assume you guys... I know you did, too. Grew up on a lot of the European melodic death metal, the In Flames and the Haunted and stuff like that, and that's really started to spin off into like, it's kind of a style for like a few of us, like us and you guys to a certain extent. I mean, have a little bit of those influences, and Decimation Theory does, and you put us all together, and we all have those influences. You can tell that, but we all sound distinctly different.
There's a bunch of different things, like
there's
a lot of that's
between the influence and mimicking too.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's like
around here.
Like what you're saying about like the Swedish, that European death metal kind of thing. That's where I kind of came into my playing guitar and started into that. But to this day, as much as I like that, I'd much rather listen to some old school fucking thrash like Exodus, Creator, Violence, like that kind of. That's where that shit's at. Like where punk rock kind of branched off into more technical kind of things, and that's what I fucking like.
Yeah, there's a big branch. That's where I followed it too.
Some death.
Can't go wrong with
the old prog metal stuff.
But it's a level of maturity too,
Yeah, that's true. Everyone went through that phase where like if it wasn't heavy, if it's not this, then it fucking sucks. But then everyone branched out, like you said, it's a level of maturity. Once you get older, you recognize the things that are as cool as what you said. You would never listen to anything else but that.
You sit there and when you're young, you listen to like that, and like as you get older too, and like I know me and you listen to a lot of the same like some of the indie kind of stuff, and I looked at your stuff, and when you lived with us,
I don't even listen to metal anymore, to tell you the truth. Honestly, I hate to say it, but when I'm at home, it's all like
I'd wake up in bed and Kelly would just be jamming for like 2 hours, and I'd wake up like, all right, time to get up, and I'd hear Kelly jamming, and I'd just lay back in bed like I'm just gonna listen to this shit for a while because one morning it'd be one morning it'd be fucking one morning it'd be like fucking classical shit, and one morning it'd be metal shit, and one morning it'd be jazz. It's like you play metal, but that's on your free time. You're fucking around with all kinds of different shit, and it comes back into your writing. Yeah, it does. And like I said, we listen to chill stuff on our free time. But you're listening to it, you're enjoying it, and then when you go back into the writing process, it's had some kind of influence on how you write from then on, because you recognize stuff that you like.
I write in cycles, like I listen in cycles, like I'll go through my hardcore metal phase, like a lot of the stuff I've gotten from Judson, all the freaking the Chrysiums and fucking Insidicy and all that type of stuff. But then like I'll go back to like Merciful Fate and stuff that I really enjoyed, and I'll even throw old Van Halen. I know you're the biggest Van Halen fan, and then I'll go into straight like
that shit. That's what it comes down to.
And then I'll go into straight like Massive Attack and Tricky and weird stuff like that, and Cross's Chino's new side project from Deftones. I found that stuff pretty amazing too. And that comes around. That's a lot of like goth and new wave influence. Like even as far back as like. The new wave influence as far back as like Duran and stuff like that. You know, some of those melodies you really have to pay attention
like
to.
Depeche Mode, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's whether it's good or bad songwriting, that's all in the eye of the beholder. But there's no denying that you listen to different types of things that aren't metal and that have an effect on the way that you ride or the kind of groove that you want to listen to. It's not always going to be fucking heavy. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 blessed.
Well, I know being a local artist too. One thing that I think is really cool about living out here is like y'all singer Nick, dude, and like Ian and a lot of the singers around here. When I go to a show, I watch them and I watch how the crowd reacts and I see what's successful and I change how I perform on stage based off that, because there are a lot of different genres out here and they do a lot of different things outside of the music, just the entertainment that you provide. There's a lot of people, it's not a lot of bands that just get up there stiff anymore, People are out there because they're passionate about it. You're not making a whole lot of money doing this out here.
There's a lot of hungry people.
Yeah, people do this day in and day out, and they sacrifice
There's a lot of really good guitar players in this city.
Yeah.
Like Rusty Cooley and...
But just, artists in general, and watching them, it's like, your stage performance is insane, Like,
well, they're not spoiled. Like, there's places like Austin, they're spoiled. There's 10 shows, on any given night on every street corner.
Yeah.
And so they're not starved for it. They go past some place. I've seen it,
Yeah.
They go past the place and there's a band playing and they're like, whatever, I just want to get fucked up.
Yeah.
But there's some cool fucking shit coming out of those doors.
There is
where if
cool,
you take a second to listen to it,
people don't listen to it because it's so saturated. But
in
Houston, people pay a little bit more
attention.
Especially places like in San Antonio, too.
And the energy
places that aren't starved for, are starved for it,
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing I think that works well in Houston is that there's a, it's a friendly rivalry.
Friendly.
There's a friendly.
Hey, Tyler takes the time.
There's a friendly rivalry between bands, and
And
not so
good point, Alex.
Thank you. I tried. I don't know where I got the idea.
It's a friendly rivalry, but
that's not what he was really saying, but it kind of sounded like it was going there. So
I think there's a friendly rivalry.
I'm sure you guys feel the same way we do. I don't care if you guys are on the bill or whoever else is on the bill, but we're all up there running out to try and outperform everybody else.
No, yeah, definitely.
And I think that really makes the best show for the fans because
that's what
you see the band before you come on with a shitload of energy and you're like, man, I got to go out there and top that.
That's what you're
going out there and
do
trying to be
different.
cleaner and crazier and more aggressive than the last band. And so many shows, I think pretty much every show goes down like that. And I think that's really beneficial to the fans.
And that in-between stuff, you don't really see. It's just member to member. It's like, man, how am I going to top that?
Yeah.
It's like, I think the same thing when I see you guys,
Well, playing with...
I hear it all the time. We're watching a band and one of the other band members standing there going...
Yeah, man, I don't want to follow these guys. I want to follow these guys.
Now I got to see what I can do to follow these guys.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do. Like, if you want to do something big, everyone's friends in the scene. I like to hope so. I'm good friends with y'all, Decimation Theory, anyone else is, around. I know them. I feel comfortable with them. When it comes down to it, like I said before, it's Houston's that fishbowl. You want to fucking get out of it one way or another, and never to step on anyone's toes or you don't want to step on anyone to get above it. But there's always that bit of, as much as there is a friendly rivalry in terms of getting shit in between, it's also hard to get out of that and try to be like, all right, cool, we're good friends, but we need to get out of here.
Yeah, it's still in ways a mini competition. And I remember coming in after a tragedy lost and about to get on stage, and their former bass player Brandon was athletic as hell. And did you? He just did a handstand on stage. I'm like, I can't fucking do that. What the hell am I doing? I'm trying to jump off the fucking drum riser and everything else that I can do crazy.
Right? You got to find your gimmicks that you do on stage that people can't.
Well, but they're not. I don't know. The way I come across, I just really run with the way... sure, I consciously think about, man, I've really got to go out there and,
you got to upgrade.
Bust my ass and try and be the best performer. But when I'm out on stage, I'm moving as the music makes me move. I don't sit there and think, I've got this gimmick during this part. I have to.
Absolutely.
There's certain parts where I feel like...
Like with the tragedy loss, what I was thinking about is Brandon and Zach, how they would play and they play on the other fretboard, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like you couldn't mimic that, you know? If you mimic that, then people wouldn't respect that.
Yeah,
but you see something like that, and it's like, that was impressive. We need to do something equally as impressive.
Yeah,
and it just
nobody's doing Scorpion's choreated.
Yeah, really.
You know,
but you don't want to be the band that follows up stiff.
Dude, and every band knows that something they have to do to make themselves stand apart. But there's also that line they have to draw where playing in front of a crowd, people that don't know music, people that do know music. Long story short, those people are going to smell fucking bullshit. If they know that you're coming at it in a dishonest manner and you're just trying to like play whatever half-assed it and try to look cool.
Rehearsing
exactly,
head bobs at the same time.
They can smell bullshit from miles away. That's why it's important to get your shit across.
That shit, though.
Play good music. Yeah, I know, it's true. There's an equal part. There's people that will eat it up and people that know better than that. And I'd like to believe that there's more people that know, that can smell the difference between bullshit and, you know, real music.
Performance and getting into it and feeling it are two different things too. And people can't read through that shit. Because when I'm at a show and I see someone that just goes nuts, like you as a bass player, you're a fucking beast, dude. Like you fucking throw your hair back and you scream at the audience. And when people see that, it's like, all right, Alex just got fucking in mode, you know?
I got angry.
You know what I'm saying? It's like fucking, I'm into it now because I saw you do that. And
stuff like that lends to. If you're playing the fucking music, and if you're honest about what you're doing, then you will fucking let it go, and the people will read that through. And like I said, people smell bullshit. They know the difference between it. The people that really are going to count.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Then again, I don't know. That goes back into business. The people that don't count also will buy CDs just because they think you look cool. You want to play music all you want, but you got to make some money off of it too. You just can't play music for the sake of playing music. In that case, then everyone would be fucking jacking off in the fucking in their closet playing guitar, bass, drums all day long. You want to make some music out of it, and that's the tough part.
You gotta get out sometimes.
Every once in a while. You're a piece so fucking bad.
I'm gonna pause with Alex here at the stuff.
I should have brought some adult diapers. Wait, I don't think we touched on any of that shit.
Damn.
Leaking.
Sounds like deleted scenes, dude. Alex and Tyler's secret conversation while they're crossing streams on the side of the garage.
If this audio gets picked up, you know.
Don't cross the streams.
Sword fighting inside.
Alex, shake for me.
Oh my god.
No, I mean, shake my dick.
I'll also send you a copy of any letters I might get from my neighbors.
Hey, just fucking do it.
It's ridiculous, but it was just total gratuitousness, and I can say that easier apparently than friendly rivalry.
Frendry Rivery. And Tyler Chapman from Asia.
Rory Hole.
You know, Frendry Rivery.
A gory hole. Not after I'm done with it.
Glory Hole.
Started a gay Christian
Glory
band
Hole.
called Glory Hallelujah.
That's awful.
One thing that about this scene too is like shit's been popping up. We see a lot of people that aren't in bands that are doing what they can to be directly involved with the scene, that are spending a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and spending money out of pocket to do what they can. Like Rusty Connor with Lone Star Metal magazine, and I know Crystal Connor's been a big help with that. But throwing that magazine and actually going out of pocket and going close to being broke a lot of the time, just because they believe in this magazine, they believe in putting this stuff out. And a lot of these people tell you, they're like, I can't play an instrument, but I want to be a part of this. They see something in it, like yourself with the Vantage Point video. I mean, if you don't know what you contribute, then you couldn't begin to explain it. But if they do, it's something that could never be compensated. What you do is awesome. You have KPFT. How long has that Ejaculate show been going on?
Jesus Christ.
Since we were kids.
Really. Nothing's been going on forever, and somehow they still keep it going.
Yeah,
and whether you like it or not, that's still playing like total underground CD
underbelly.
That's
the only
Bill and Herman and Jessica over at Ejaculate. It's a radio.
No, but there's a lot of stuff. People come and go, but even then, there's still some radio stations, and even if it's not for metal, maybe playing hip hop, some sort of ambient, whatever it is. There's still a lot of stuff that is letting the local light shine. That's kind of what matters.
I think Alex is going to create a drinking game.
I might.
People are going to be like watching the movie and taking a shot every time Alex burps.
Hey, that's like
It's like
they're gonna get drunker if they play off of your farts.
it's like drunk in Star Wars. Like you have to take a drink every
All right,
time
drink.
you wine.
They're just trying to keep it warm in this garage.
Now you gotta work through burps and fucking.
I got it. It's cool. We have to work my way through friendly rivalry.
Frendry rivalry.
So it's all right.
Friendly rivalry. Okay.
Keep working on that one.
We also had mentioned in Hillary Merrick with the Houston Underground. She said, not even just metal, a lot of different genres on there, which is cool to, if you're following up like a punk band or an alternative band on a radio station, it's cool because it's getting people to listen to a lot of different stuff. And I mean, obviously,
they do a little bit of everything. I haven't had a chance to work with them, but I've heard good about them, definitely.
Yeah, and we play metal out here, but it's about the music scene as a whole, Let's get it away from this fucking chopped and screwed shit, like fucking...
Guilty
The
pleasure.
other thing is a show like that broadens the audience a bit, too.
But there's also...
No, that's true. Because you have a lot of people that do listen to X and like a little bit of Y. I like metal. I don't listen to metal at home, but I like, other Houston type shit. I like a little bit of the chop and screwed. Odd to say, even shit down to like, Bun B, like all the UGK stuff. That's cool by me. I have no problem with that.
There's good music out here is the point, Like there's a lot of good metal out here, but just in general, there's a lot of good music, and it gets skipped over because when Paul Wall and Chopped and Screwed and all that shit hits it big out here, then people assume that's all that's out here, and they overlook.
Houston's got a damn good scene for like hip hop and rap and that kind of thing, and I got nothing against that. Like I said, I like that, but there's nothing really solid for rock in general. Anything with distorted guitars and dirty vocals, there's nothing really big at all.
I mean, shine the light. Houston. House of Blues in Houston, for the first time that I'm aware of, through an all-local show, gave out between 4,000 to 6,000 tickets for a free show. It was us, Carrion Sun, Carry the Storm, Decimation Theory, Will to Live, and Elder Gods were on that show. And we brought in
and those are one of the ones, too, to mention fucking Will to Live. They've brought it for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And that's been like part of like, I'd call like a founding rock of, that kind of hardcore scene in Houston.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with that at all.
And we ended up getting an Austin connection out of that because one of the guys from Will to Live was known by some guy in Austin, and he just heard, you guys are playing this show at House of Blues. And he was from Houston, but he's in Austin now, and runs the Texas Metal Collective?
Yeah.
Out in Austin, and he's like, who else is on this bill? And started checking out all the other bands, and
a show like
everybody
that,
else on there was fucking good too.
A show like that, though, has a lot to show. There are plenty of people that are a captive audience for each band's respective crowd.
Absolutely, yeah.
But to say that between all local bands, that's total, what it was like at least 1,000 people in there.
1,200, I think, huh?
Yeah,
Just about. To say that many people came through House of Blues' doors strictly for a local audience or for a local band, that has a lot to say. There's definitely there's a fire burning, but it's not stoked to its full
And there's
potential.
someone that's got that kind of leeway that recognized that and pulled that, because for one of the biggest venues in Houston to say we're going to throw an all-local show and we're going to throw a lot of money into this to see what kind of pull we have, and to have a kind of pull like that, it kind of legitimizes the scene more, and we need more of that. Like, I know you guys have Verizon now, and Decimation Theory is going to be on that, and it seems like Verizon saw the success of the House of Blues show and said, we need to do that too. And the big venues start picking up and throwing all local shows
There's
like that.
definitely people that are keeping an eye out, that's for sure.
It's going to.
It's a matter of bringing it to them, to their attention.
Commanding awareness, like, hey, there is a scene out here that people need to pay attention to, If the big venues like that are touching on it, then obviously there's something to it. And especially if you play those shows and you can pack that place, you should be able to pack those small venues. That's where we need to tip right there. It's like we can pack House of Blues, but we can't pack Rudyard's or Walters or something. It's like you all came out to this show. Come out to this show too, you know.
I think that's part of the reputation that Houston has too. It's such a fickle audience. There's people out there that love their bands that'll do their shit for them. Again, going back to that fishbowl that Houston is, but it's a fickle audience. They'll only go because it's a big venue. That's the band that I know. That's my friends. They're playing a big fucking place. That's cool as shit. But when you try to get a crowd out to, you know, X location, something a little bit smaller, even if it's, you know, something well known as Fitz, you kind of have a hard time packing that place. And or even remotely getting a decent amount of people through there.
And you
even to break the door number like where you can get paid out of that.
House or Blues or Verizon, you know? It's like you get there because you establish yourself to some extent, which you need to go support those smaller shows because that's what gets people there, you know? If you don't show up to the smaller shows, then you can never build yourself up with enough reputation where you can get shows like that. Yeah. It's all about the small shows should be just as packed.
All that's an uphill battle though. Easier said than done.
19th Hole and Acadia and a couple other.
It blows my mind that I never see Acadia packed. It's like,
and that place is a great fucking place. They have a good sound system. They have a lot of room. It's
location.
It's a good location. Somewhere easily accessible on the north side of Houston. And it really, unless it's a big major event, you don't get a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, and it's and with the reputation that Tommy's built with the.
As awesome as he is, and he does great fucking work with sound and with with the way that he interacts with the bands and everything. He does a great job, but he's only one person out of so many that are probably doing the same thing. But so all those other people are never getting any kind of recognition as far as no one's ever going to know who the sound guy is unless you're playing the show. But it's getting those people into that show to know that at least
the sound guys that I've ever come across that
he does a fucking solid fucking job. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else just goes through the motions, and you're lucky if they're not fucking wasted by 11.
Yeah. Right. Oh, you're doing this. You want this. That's cool. And the next thing you know, smoke machine on the 10. It's like, dude, you're fucking killing me, man.
And like with Tommy, it's really
let us put on the fucking
it's really a thankless job, except for the people that directly work with him playing music.
Yeah.
Don't really appreciate it as much.
I have a lot of respect for that guy.
You go play a lot of places. Half the places. Maybe not half of them, but you go play places that have cinder blocks instead of monitors. Won't name names, but
that inspire cartoons.
Oh. But you have someone like Tommy.
That actually happened.
No. Let's not fucking skirt around that. That's one of those things without naming names or naming people or organizations. But also something that goes hand in hand with not getting people into shows are promoters. There's a lack of people that really try to do something for the scene, for the love of the music, for the love of what they're doing, that just do it for the money. It's easy to fucking, hey, I know you, I know them, they know you, let's get a couple of bands together, get them through the door, let's fucking make money off of it.
Well, that's a good point.
There's no one actually pays attention to it. There's few people that pay attention to it.
If you're going to watch this movie, do your research on promoters. If there's been a Houston Press article talking about they're a scam artist, look into it. Don't work with those people. Run them out of town. If their name rhymes with
Hey! No, there's a number of people out there. I am sure that there are some of those people that do a good job in their own scene, but they try too hard to branch out into something else that they're not familiar with, and therefore fucks those bands that they try to mess with, that they have no connection with or any recognition of, that fucks those bands and fucks them. Because I don't know, it's a scene. It's like it's fucking as old as we all are. It's fucking high school. It's junior high. People play telephone. If you do one job, if you do a bad job with somebody, it travels on to the next person and the next person and the next person, and it goes for bands as well as it does with promoters or people. Anyone that works behind the scenes.
There's a reason why people want to be on Rusty showcases.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason why people want to do Mandy's shows.
People like Rusty, I've only had one experience with one of Mandy's shows, and that was fucking awesome. I love the way that she went about it. The bands are all good. It was a good show. Stuff with Rusty, that's been excellent. Stuff with, anything that Lone Star Metal Magazine has its hands in, it's always fucking good. You can't argue with that.
They're local metal fans. They're metal lovers.
Exactly.
They put on shows they
grew up doing that. Those are people that fucking eat shit and fucking sweat out fucking metal, and not even metal, but the music. The want to get that out.
They put the show on that they want to go see.
Yeah, exactly.
And like with Rusty, Rusty's not just a promoter. Rusty is a promoter for his magazine that he's devoted so much time to. So he's not going to slander that. He's not.
He's going to make sure he does a good job. He's not out. And him, and I'm sure there's other people that we don't even know about. There are people like him that aren't out there just to get their fucking dicks tickled and fucking get their shit sucked. They're out there because they want to see people like them out there do a show to have a good fucking time, put on a show that they would want to go see. Instead of just like, well, I know these guys are my friends.
I feel bad now because I just play music to get my dick tickled.
It's angry and I'm pissed off about it. There we go.
I'm pissed off, I'm mad about it.
Definitely got to get the dick
Definitely
tickled
should.
quote in there.
Well,
I'm just gonna get the
like
dick
with
tickled.
Rusty, when Crystal had her birthday, his wife Crystal had her birthday,
Mhm.
he threw on another badass show, but he threw on the show that would make the perfect night for, I think it was Crystal's 30th birthday. He was talking about,
God,
And
what
that-
would
And
have
and
been?
that-
that show Saturday was a friend's birthday.
yeah,
I wish I would have been out to that.
but he plans
I was
it out like
after
that, you know? He doesn't
saw him actually at the hole.
He doesn't throw slop together. He plans his shit out, and like he threw the same kind of show for his wife's birthday that he would throw for any one of our bands just looking to play, because he's methodical about it, and he says I'm gonna set up the best show. And anytime we've played with him that he's had out of town bands, it's been
Because they want to come play with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They know him. They know what he's about. They know that he's not bullshitting.
There's a
people.
reason why Jason McMaster will come to Houston if anytime Rusty asks.
And that's awesome.
With whatever
He's-
band's available.
That's
it's
like-
about-
Whenever one of his bands is available, he'll bring it to Houston
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Rusty
and
asks.
right in their motto, integrity. You know,
And that's like Houston homegrown kind of thing. You know, you can't argue with that. Even if maybe they haven't reached a big fucking, big time name status and all that, coming where he's coming from. Stuff like Dangerous Toys. It has its fucking spot in the Houston scene, I guess.
And that's always been local metal, though. It's underground until you make it big, and then the second you make it big, all those underground people don't like you anymore. And that's always been the way metal's operated. So it's really,
That's
really an
that-
odd genre to begin
That can
with.
go for like anything, but especially in the metal community or in any kind of music community. Everyone talks about the other person and talks about the other guy, and this guy doesn't like each other, but then they're friends then. But as soon as something goes bad, it fucking sucks. And then,
yeah, it's all about having fun. It's all about a sense of community, and chances are a lot of these bands that are playing together, I know at least us, Decimation Theory, Tragedy Lost, their drummer recorded our album, Craig at Origin, we've recorded with him, he did a badass job. He's been around for a long time. Look at people that have been around for a while, and those people that have been around for a while, chances are they know the con artists, they know the people to go to, and they know the people to avoid.
it's
and
one of those been there, done that.
yeah, trust
I
that,
know.
and there's a lot of social networking out there. It's really easy to get a hold of anybody, and before you deal with a promoter, if you've never heard of them, go talk to somebody about it. Spread the word. Just throw the question out.
Information is right a question or two away, yeah.
It's right there, and there's plenty of people that are willing to tell you that guy is awesome. They have respect for somebody, or they have no respect for someone, and trust that.
Everybody's got a few haters, but if everybody you ask all hate somebody, there's a good chance they've
Yeah,
screwed up
exactly.
with a lot
There's
of people.
something going on down, yeah.
They're in the Houston Press.
I mean,
Twice,
This brings
you know?
upon a big responsibility upon the bands to handle their own shit, to take care and watch their own backs. Take on someone to help you out, do whatever you need to. Especially if someone hooking you up with shows, shit that seems big, but, all in all, you gotta do the hard work yourself.
Yeah,
And
chances are, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If someone you've never heard of is telling you it's about to happen.
And that's the one thing about Houston that most people don't realize. This is the fourth largest city in the country.
It comes back to that
Fourth
size
largest
thing.
city. It is a huge fucking city.
You run a scam down in Baytown. Is it necessarily going to get up north by the time he gets up there to do it?
No, not even close. It's such a big city where shit like that doesn't fucking matter. It's a drop in the bucket. They don't hear about it till way later after, the band 100 miles uptown.
Houston is a big city. There's a lot of bands. Ask around. Ask questions. If you've never dealt with someone, ask questions. Figure out their reputation. There's a lot of people around, and there's a lot of people that have dealt with a lot of people around here. If you want to do shows, ask around. If you get offered a deal that sounds too good to be true,
It
ask
probably
around,
is.
and bands will probably let you know what the scam is. play a lot and play with different bands. And if someone you've never heard of that wasn't at the show is begging you to play one of their shows, chances are it's a scam. If it's someone you've seen at a couple of shows that comes up to you and says they respect what you do, if they've been at a couple of your shows, chances are they're not scamming people. Chances are if they continuously show up to your shows and then tell you they respect what you do, then you can take their word on it, because that's somebody that's at shows consistently and really believes in the scene.